Hey, Maria back with another video. It is early. It is 6:43 a.m. It is July 20th. It is Saturday morning, and I am sitting here in front of my window sipping coffee and looking at the sunlight. It is very beautiful this morning. Very beautiful. And the sun feels wonderful on my skin. And I was doing some thinking. I've been up earlier than 6 o'clock. I got up, I think, around 5:15 or so. And I was just kind of pedaling around and thinking about, you know, life in general and how I've, worked hard to um, never be in a situation like I've always felt as though I've conducted myself in a way where I would not deliberately create rifts with people. You know what I mean? Because when you create rifts with people, then people will retaliate, right? So then you get in this constant battle of wills, right? And all of this took me by surprise because I had people coming in trying to follow me, attach themselves to me, and created a big, big, big problem, which I felt I suffered the consequences from, right? And I was thinking about, I was thinking about the nature of CB Braganza, right? Because Maria's in love with CB Braganza. Maria loves, loves, loves. Do I need to say it one more time? Maria loves CB Braganza. She loves it, right? Why? Because I identify so much as him in this life, okay? And some people would say, well, don't you hate your life? I'm going to tell you, I do not hate my life. I hate the components in it. Okay, I hate the people who've made my life miserable. I hate the situations that I've been in. I hate the fact that I had to deal. It's always the external. It has always been the external, what was around me. And this is one of the reasons, like when I knew that I felt as though life with my adoptive family, uh, I never hated them at that time. Now, because of this whole thing that was so ugly, this whole thing, this whole blow up Facebook nightmare, drag it out for 11 more additional years, the stupidity that I had to deal with, okay, was so dark. And the realization of everything, it just painted a picture and put everything into clarity to where I made some decisions for myself, okay? Some people would have thought, that my decisions were drastic, but my decisions were correct. Okay, so when I said that I was walking away from certain people, like my blood relations, not my blood relations, but like my family, my adopted family, everything. I had some people who always wanted to challenge and test things that I said. Okay, when this is dealing with an issue that is a family issue that I have the right to make. You know what I mean? So, but my point is that as CB Berganza, people literally took advantage of him because of the disrespect and the hatred that they had towards his race. You know what I mean? The very fact that I think that CB's presence conjured up in a lot of the minds of people when they encountered him is that it does throw people off. Like I've known in my life as Maria Gordon, I would encounter people, right? And they would stand back and start looking at me when I would talk, right? Obviously, I now realize that they had some sort of knowledge of who I was before they met me, right? Because they knew I was CB Berganza. They knew I was Prince Alamehu. They knew whatever. But I didn't know that. So I would think, I've always thought, what is your trip? I understood that it was very difficult. So it's very difficult for a lot of white people to accept the fact that not all black people speak Ebonics or have been brought up to speak Ebonics or even can even speak Ebonics, okay? So people like me who have mind of their own, who have allowed themselves to, expand their minds outside of what is like the regular interest of people within their age group. I've always been inquisitive, so I've always looked into different subject matters. So what I am is a very unique individual, okay? And so, it gets picked up on almost immediately, like, oh, she's different, she's different, she's different. I am a product of my ability to survive. I am a product of somebody who originally, of course, came from Ethiopia, went to England, and then came to the United States. Okay, obviously, the certain traits that I had inside me, such as being, a very strong, magical person, Obviously, I'm a very smart person, but I do believe that I have always been perceived as being stupid. And the reason why is because there were a lot of people. I've noticed one thing about the education system, okay? The education system, I wouldn't say so much the education system, but I would say as people get older, they're very, very concerned about status. And I understand. We live in a world that everything revolves around materialism, right? So, and and class and everything. It was even worse, I would say, like in the 19th century, okay? Because that was just like hoity-toity, and people were very, very careful about splitting themselves and whatever. I get it, right? But this is where the foolish stuff comes in. That obviously people believed everything that C.B. Berganza said. So much so that they copied him, they published his stuff, they went so far to create offshoots of the Christian faith and all other kinds of religions and my work and what do you call it, organizations based off of his structure. And so from somebody that they perceived, no, they didn't believe that he was stupid. You know what I mean? I will say that when I was dealing over at Murray Family Farms and other places I've worked, they knew the history of this. And this is something. It's like one of those things that's it's like the elephant in the room, and people try to ignore it because it makes them feel comfortable. It shakes them to their core when they have to admit and see a black person with intelligence. It disturbs them. Okay, and the first thing that comes to white people's mind is fear. And the reason why they have fear that first comes into their mind is because, once again, it's projection. Because white people have been systematically trained to attack things, to hate things, to lash out at things. Okay, instantly. Okay, because the reason why I know is because I've experienced it firsthand from them. Okay, so they think that this is what if they think in their mind that if they gain any sort of intelligence, what they're always concerned about is world dominance. That is the first thing, and so they want to dominate white people. That you've experienced any sort of harsh reality from is that they are very concerned about dominating things. This is what they do. This is their nature. Okay, and I don't even give a shit about any of it. I literally don't. I am just seriously, this is how I look at life. I am here just to get through it. Just to get through it. Okay? And I'm trying to do it in the most comfortable way I possibly can. I'm trying to get away and get through this maze in a way that I'm utilizing my knowledge and trying to avoid the pitfalls that a lot of other people make because I've seen it happen before. Or come up with different sort of what do you call innovative ways to work around something else. Whatever it is I'm trying to do, I understand, but it's my right to do it. Okay, I've never been, but they see you as a threat all the time. All the time. And so the same thing with C.B. Berganza. And so what my experience was at C.B. Berganza, which is so familiar to me as a Marine Corps, right, is my encounters with people who, the two-faced stuff. Like I've dealt with two-faced people all my life. And as Maria Gordon, before my knowledge of C.B. Berganza, okay, I have been making like little special notes in my mind of picking up and remembering all the people that would mimic things that I've said. And I call these people absorbers. Okay, I'm going to talk about copycats and absorbers. Okay, I get a lot of people copycatting me. I've seen it in a lot of videos on YouTube, and I get it. When a topic gets circulated, people talk about it and they start picking up on it. They've never spoken about this issue before, but all of a sudden they start talking about it. So I understand that people were trying to silence me and never give me credit for my work. Okay, but yet they want to grit in my face, right? They want to grit in my face and think that we're friends. You know what I mean? Or stalk me through Facebook and stuff like that and act like we're fucking friends. Okay, number one, and I made this very clear before, you do not ever copycat me and then think you were going to be my fucking friend, right? Okay, I understand that there's certain people like I remember I used to know this guy who lived around the corner from me. He was from Texas, right? And he had an accent, okay? He only had an accent when he was kind of drinking, right? And he was somebody's dad. So the reason why he was talking to me, because I was a little kid, and I was making conversation with adults, and I picked up on his accent just as he was talking. You know what I mean? Because And if you're around like a person who has an accent, or you have whether it be a Texas accent or it could be a British accent, and you start talking to them for a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden you start talking a little differently. It's one of those weird phenomena, and I'm going to talk about phenomena that we pick up on in interacting with other people. I'm going to talk about that in another video, okay? But what I'm saying is that people try to absorb my behavior. I've seen it happen. It happened at Murray Family Farms, and this is one of the reasons why I was attacked. This is the truth, okay? What bothered me about Steve Murray was the fact that he absorbed a lot of stuff, and he knew that I was working very hard to create things at the company and work on the company stuff, and he would always discredit my work. But he would thank the team. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand this is what I do not like about working with this particular group. Okay, they make sure that they never give me credit for anything. Okay, right then and there, you're telling me you are not my fucking friend. You're not my fucking friend. You sit here and you take credit for the things that I do, and then you rationalize it like I don't have to feel bad about this because she's not a person anyway. And then you expect me to be your fucking friend. Get real. Okay? Get real. Okay, so I'm dealing with people who are disrespecting me. And I can pick up on first people are disrespecting me. And once I sense that you disrespect me, we're done. Same thing with like Murray Family Farms, okay? Now I remember Steve Murray, okay, it is important to get acknowledgement for what you create. You know why? Because it gives you motivation to do more. Okay, and then they would always say, "You're just trying to be arrogant." That is bullshit. It is bullshit. You know what? My work history was about, it was about demonstrating my skill, so that I could have a reputation to continually be chosen for other jobs if I needed to. If the employment system was working correctly, what would happen was I would do a kick-ass job for the employer, right? The employer would always think highly of me. So they would endorse you on things like stupid things like LinkedIn and whatever. Unfortunately, I was associated with the network. Okay, that was corrupt from the get-go. Okay, but they would endorse you accordingly, or in the old school way, they would write you a letter, or you don't even have to show your reference letter. The old employer would call your new employer, and they would say, hey, yeah, she's a good employee, yeah, whatever. I would rehire her again. However, the professional steps were to hire a person. Okay. But all I've dealt with was, disrespect. I even had to deal with PAS. I call it passive aggressive stupidity, right? I call it passive aggressive stupidity. Why? Because it's obvious, okay? I don't think I need to explain why. But passive aggressive stupidity falsified or tried to falsify. Okay, what I mean by that is when they realized that I was starting to catch on, I wanted the reports back because I wanted to prove to people that I was suited for my job. Because they wanted desperately to tell me that I was a creative person, that I would, and I am a creative person, but I'm artistic. Why? Because they wanted to remove any merit to me having any sort of intelligence. Why? Because this was about white supremacy. And I realized what was going on at Murray County Farms. People thought that I wasn't paying attention to all the little events that opened up, but I paid attention to all of them. All of them. Okay? And every single thing that happened to me was proof of racism. Racism. Okay? They knew I was suited for my job. Steve Murray would sit there and say, I would talk to Steve Murray because I felt like, I'm the kind of person, let's have an open dialogue and let's get this out in the open because this isn't working. Okay. And I asked him, I said, you know what? I did this and you don't really seem to acknowledge anything. He said he's belittled it. He was like, what's important is that this is contributing to the team. No, it is not. Okay. Yes, it is important that it's contributed to the team, that the team incorporates it so it will function well, but it's important that I get recognition for my work. Okay. This is just one of the reasons why a lot of people do not believe or are happy with their jobs. You know what I mean? It is not about being egotistical. It's about getting the incentive to continue to do more. Okay? Why do you think wives hate it when, like, they do things for their husband, they clean stuff up, they do little special things, and the husband just takes it for granted? This is just an example on like a micro level. Okay, when you feel like you're being taken for granted, you know, people are going to act out in different ways. Oh, really? You didn't notice that I did for you? You didn't notice I cleaned this up for you? You don't know I did this stuff? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking cheat on you. People will do stuff like this, okay? Why? Because somehow there's some sort of imbalance, and the imbalance could have never happened had this person acknowledged this person in the first place. It's an even exchange, okay? So this is one of the reasons why people hate their jobs, because they do not get the recognition that they're supposed to get. And I was never going to get any recognition because I was part of an experiment. Okay? And what's a slap in the face, or what's meant to be slap in the face, when you really look at it, is that Steve Murray was a member of, okay, the Church of, not church, what was that? Science of Mind. He was a Science of Mind person, the same person who ripped off me in the last slide. Okay, and he's going to sit here and try to pull the wool over my eyes. How dare you disrespect me? See, and the thing is, I want to talk a little bit about the copycats. So Steve Murray was a copycat. A lot of people that I worked with over at Murray Founds were copycats. And then I ended up getting attacked. So if people don't understand the legalities of this issue, I don't really need to go too deeply into it, but I've suffered a lot for it. And then you want to sit here and like throw my stuff out, like, you know, demonstrate my work on social media, acting as if you're creating it. Because I know where this stuff comes from. You guys act like you create my stuff, and then you turn around and treat me like I'm the other. Why the fuck do you think I want to be your friend? You know what I mean? It's like the disrespect is just, it's too much. So absorbers and copycats to me are the kind of people, the kind of people that shouldn't be in my energy. You know what I mean? They really shouldn't be in my energy. And I'm just releasing this right now because you have to set guidelines with people. I will tell you, whatever it is that I do, whatever it is that I say, I notice a lot of people, like I said, people pick up on what I say and they mimic it. Or they, you know, because they know that I speak in the heart of the matter. So I know I've watched some, like, you know, segments of certain people, and I've been hearing things that people are saying, and I'm like, okay, I know that this whole issue was big. Like I said, people got involved in it. I was under surveillance. Big name people got into it. And what you basically tried to do is you tried to sort of steal my resources. When I hear people copycatting me, that's what you're doing. You're stealing my resources. And then you're grinning in my face and saying it's okay. From a business perspective, that's insane for you to expect me to have respect for you. Everything in my life is a business perspective. You know what I mean? And so I take offense to it. And I'm not talking to anyone specifically. I'm just saying is like, you know, when people don't get, it has nothing to do with ego. It has everything to do with momentum. And see, the problem is that people never wanted me to have momentum. What they wanted me to do is they wanted me to be abused continuously. Okay, but they'll hate my stuff. So what I see, and when I look at people, you have to understand that I'm at a point right now where I can't really deal with people because I've seen nothing but filth come from people. And I hate it. So people, these need to know that when I see the filth coming from you, you need to understand that I do not excuse it on any level. Okay. So yeah, the absorber thing, the copycat thing, I've dealt with that a lot. Okay. Obviously, if somebody's going to be copying my work, we got educated people copying my work. Obviously, I must be someone that's credible and somebody who knows what they're talking about. And see, and then I get the discredit. And no one else to play the game. And here's the thing: they want you in your entourage so that they can keep you close enough, so they can continually bullying you and draining your resources, Whether I made money on those platforms or not, you're draining my resources by me putting in extra work trying to make money. And then these sick people. See, the problem it is that they're sick. It is a sickness. Okay, this whole experiment thing. These people got off on misery. They get off on it. They don't have any sort of empathy. The only reason why people feel bad when they get called out is because, oh shit, they got called out. And now everybody knows that they're a piece of shit, and they have to be like, oh, well, what can I say? You know what I mean? Whatever. You know what I mean? I've done everything I could in this life to do the right thing. And I've always stayed in my own lane. And see, that's the most important part. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to talk about? I was kind of thinking today about, you know, my vision. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make my vision and put it on a social platform to try to get it monetized just yet. because I understand that this is siphoning energy, right? These people who want to take from me and just smile in my face and think it's okay. You know what I mean? Who want to sit here and think it's okay to do the kind of shit that they do is wrong. You know what I mean? They don't want me to make any money off of the kind of work that I've done before in the past. So they say, I don't know if they want, they seem to not want me to work at all. So I honestly do believe that there's some sort of sick, twisted plot, you know what I mean, that I'm not comfortable with. Okay, I do think these people are what I would call covert killers. You know what I mean? It's incorrect to keep me under surveillance the way that these people do. Not under surveillance. What I would shadow banning. That's what I meant to say. But they did put me under surveillance at least a few years ago. I remember. Uh, anyway, I don't. You find yourself in these situations, and it's just like I can't believe somebody would take years off my life, and then they think it's okay. The religious indoctrination part is something I have a very hard time wrapping my brain around. Very hard time wrapping my brain around. I was thinking today, this is kind of off the subject, but we were talking. I was making a video a few days ago about. I mentioned that many years ago the mail order industry was like really a big deal, right? It was a huge deal, and see, this is how people got their goods, right? And I was thinking about Sears and Roebuck, because Sears and Roebuck used to sell houses that people could make. You know what I mean? I kept thinking, man, wouldn't that be nice if Sears and Roebuck revived their business structure, making tiny houses, for people who are basically going to be forced into living in stuff like this. You know what I mean? Because it looks like it's getting pretty scary, if people could like scrape up and have some sort of like, incentive plan to where people can easily finance their way into it. I don't know. But, I was thinking about how screwed up everything is. You know what I mean? I did want to talk a little bit more about. There must have been a reason why I was thinking that. I think it's because I feel as though there's some sort of desolation that I feel in the air. Like when I go outside, I feel like and I hear people talking about they're not working, their economy is messed up. I hear people talking about they're hating their jobs, and there's really very little light, very little happiness, and things to look forward to and brighten people up. So I just try to talk about things and show people how to make themselves a little bit happier. You know what I mean? Get into hobbies, maybe drawing something, reviving interests that you've had in the past. Try to make a little bit easier on yourself. You know what I mean? But yet, even something as simple as that, I have people sitting here trying to block me, ban me, acting as if I'm such a bad person. I deal with a lot of hatred. I deal with a lot of hatred. You know what I mean? Ridiculous hatred, and people just don't want to admit the fact that they're a part of a Nazi a plan. That's it. They want to sit here and like call it anything else. Try to make it look like I'm the rebellious one. I'm not rebellious. Okay, I am a person who just wants to run for cover. You know what I mean? I'm freaked the fuck out about all of this. You know what I mean? I'm freaked out because all my life, all my life I've been dealing with this weird energy, these weird people, these weird events and everything, and then you start to realize, oh my God, this is a very sick thing. It is very sick. So yeah, I come to realize that, and um, it's like you're shocked because how could something like that happen in the United States of America? You know what I mean? It just like it just blew me away. Okay, I do understand that the people who got involved in this were from England or whatever, but yes, there are laws and there's reasons why I am not on board with forced marriages. Okay, now that is an issue that's kind of circulating around. People are talking more and more about this issue of forced marriage, and I understand. I do not want anyone to ever think that I'm responsible for the decline of any marriages because I'm not. I'm not responsible for that. Everybody has their special situation. Okay, um, you know I, I'm gonna do a bit. I'd like to talk more about my vision. Like when I say it's my vision, I don't even like say I'm debating about calling it my vision. Why? Because my life is very unique. Okay, based off the circumstances of my life. Okay, the things that I had to go through, the the struggles that I've experienced, the abuse. So I don't really like people at this point. I don't. And I have a very little tolerance level, which should be understood because, I either deal with abusers and the people who are nice, they sit there, they start absorbing me, and then they come around. It's even more obnoxious is when they try to give me lessons on things that are things that I created. That right there is just like, you know what, I'm so done. Like, I don't like it. It has nothing to do with ego. Okay, it has nothing to do with ego, but it has everything to do with, people who are not on my level. Okay, and it is disrespectful to do that to a human being. Okay, now don't get me wrong, I've met some decent people before, but I've kept the exchange just light, and I like to keep people at an arm's length distance because when I find out what they really are, I usually tend to be very disappointed. You know what I mean? My standards are very high. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, if you are in good graces with me, you will experience the most phenomenal love and care and friendship that you could ever imagine. I'm talking about the kind of love that you can feel from a distance. Okay? That's the kind of person I am because I believe in being a pure person. And when you are someone like me, unfortunately, people take your kindness for weakness. No, my kindness is a blessing that I bestow on a person once I get to know them and I care about them. You know what I mean? And I don't like being people disrespecting me. And that's a form of disrespect. When you think it's okay to take my things and not give me credit, when you think it's okay to remove merit from my things, it's not okay. Okay, and it's not in any way disrespectful. Now, I do believe that some of the people who are involved in this, now I understand, like, when it comes to white supremacist rules or ideology, um, is white power stealing from other people and then taking credit for that? Is that what white power is? I'm just trying to understand because I know that this was there was some sort of Ku Klux Klan in my mind, or at least I'm identifying it with the Ku Klux Klan and white nationalism or whatever. I didn't ask to be a part of this. I didn't ask to be a part of it. You know what I mean? No. Okay. So anyway, I also feel as though, um, I just feel as though it was in poor taste. You know what I mean? And then also, acting as if I can't do things on my own when, I don't like the underground vibe of all of this. It's like, I understand what it is. It's like I was minding my own business and somebody made a big deal out of me behind my back, okay? And it started creeping up to where this covert thing started becoming very obvious, right? And then I'm like, but see, I'm not the one who'd be attacked to attack. I didn't attack anyone. Okay, I didn't attack anyone. I didn't come here with any sort of racist agenda. I didn't come here to this town with any sort of black power, anything. Okay, white people can be very paranoid. Like I said, they do a lot of projecting. Okay, um, my political views, like I said, okay, my main thing in life is to seek and apply knowledge. This is the most important thing that I think that we should be doing in this life. Not I said we should be doing. I do. Okay, and I do understand that I criticize society a lot, and the reason why I do is because society came down on me, and they've been down on me for the last 11 years for shit that I wasn't even aware of. Like, if this was like a proper fight, I would have been given like a clear heads up. But it was all done in this like little way that I can't even have any respect for. Okay, but it was an attack. Okay, and when you base it on the attack, and things based on history, it was a covert program that was meant to destroy someone inside out. Okay, whether people realize it or not, people participating in things like gang stalking and the activities of it just comes to people. People, almost instinctively, resort to these things. They think that they find somebody that they're intrigued about, and they want to follow that person. They start stalking that person. They start communicating about that person. People start exchanging their ideas. Then it can become developed into a cabal, and the next thing you know, they got people trafficking. Hey, you know what? Let's set her up in a job. Let's set her up in a job. Great idea. And so they start arranging jobs, and you're this special person with this like background that you don't know anything about, but apparently your frenemies, or I guess I could call very strange, distorted fans, right, know all about your history. You're puzzled as hell. Like, why is everybody talking to me? Why is everybody doing? You don't get it, right? But anyway, I digress. You got to understand that this issue has been very rough on me, and I deserve respect. Okay, and the goal was to never give me any, because this is a cult. It's a cult. I have a cult. Okay, so this cult, it was like following me based on people's belief, this strange belief that ordinarily none of these religious groups would even have anything to do with each other, right? And most of the time their doctrines completely conflict with each other. But this one shared belief that they have is they just gotta fucking mess with Maria. They got to. This is one time Mormons and Catholics, they're all like humming around together, and they're just patting each other on the back and all in total agreement when if Maria Gordon didn't exist, they would be talking shit about each other. You know what I mean? So it's like, I understand. I am a person who is extremely intelligent, and people wanted to believe that. They wanted to shape and mold my view, my personality. And see, when people want to shape and mold my personality into something that I want, and then they force me, they want me to be their friend. They want to friend me on Facebook, make conversations with me, and then they want to steal my ideas, act them out, and give me good credit. And then tell me when I can and cannot make money. Seriously. How dare you? You know what that is. That's human trafficking. I am not a slave. Okay, and I have no reason to be treated like one. You know, I am not a threat to this country. You know, I don't even know what to say. But, you know, do not sit here and think that that it's okay to mess with somebody like that, because it's not. You know, I just find myself bewildered all the time, every time. You know, when I think back on this issue, because it's like I'm thinking back to what happened on Facebook, and I'm thinking about the women who attacked me. And see, these women who were attacking me could not have been more wrong to do that. See, I was attacked by these men, and these women. See, this is what I hate about women. You know what I hate about women? Is because women talk a lot of shit. They do. They talk a lot of shit. But see, they were under the impression that these men, these British men that were looking and plastering themselves all over my Facebook, they thought that these men wanted me as a wife, like to give me love and shit, right? Maybe don't get me wrong, okay? I understand how, you know, some of these people's love songs back in the day were quite captivating, right? But this is not what they're interested in. This is not about love. It's about leeching. Okay? And then it's about coercion. You know, like, you do this or I'm going to fuck your shit up. This is why it makes it illegal. And this is why I suffered. Okay? So because these men were men who had a name or whatever, people were thinking, they were threatened. They're like, well, how come she gets this? Don't fucking be jealous of somebody who's constantly dealing with people who are trying to leech off of them. Okay? This has nothing to do with love or anything like that. It has everything to do with people who are basically trying to supplement their income at my expense. Fuck you. Okay? See, this is the problem with, you know, the issue about marriage and Christianity being on the decline. Once again, it's not my fault. Okay, I'm a special person who has dealt with abuse, who has run from abuse, and this situation that I'm in right now is a very good example. of that abuse. Okay? Because I'm being like kind of forced and bullied and, you know, being disrespected. I'm not getting paid for my stuff. Okay? Somebody's thinking they have the right to decide that when I can and cannot get money, that's a problem. Okay? Because I'm not married to anybody. You know, it's funny, I did a tarot lesson a few days ago. I posted up to my account, which I deconstructed my account again, right? Because I just don't trust it. Okay, but I did a tarot lesson, and I also talked about online tarot, right? From horoscope.com. This is, I call it daily tarot reading. Every once in a while, you know, you get bored. I might be on my little tablet. I'm tired of watching YouTube videos. I think I'll go ahead and do a little tarot, right? Just because I'm bored, right? And sometimes, you know, I'll get like this. Okay, it covers love, it covers like your mood, and it covers your career. Okay, so the only thing I really care about in my life is my mood and my career. That's the only fucking thing I care about, right? And I'll tell you, setups like this have nothing to do with love, but it has everything to do with leeching. But unfortunately, they don't have a leech section for the tarot card, so they put it in the love section. So I started doing this spread, right? And I'm like, it'll talk about your partner something. So I'm like, I don't have a fucking partner. What the fuck are you talking about? So this lets me know that somebody's in my energy and they don't need to be. Okay? What you deprive a person of when you sit here and claim them as your kingdom spouse is you deprive them of a life. You know what I mean? And force this person into giving over their resources to you. Why should I do that? And don't sit here and try to paint it out like I'm the bad guy or I'm not, you know, being a full participant or anything like that. How in the world am I supposed to feel? See, this is what I'm talking about, this sort of mentality of this surface type mentality. What makes you think what is mine is yours and that I was just going to give it away? I have to make a living. Oh, or is your plot for you to take all my shit and then kill me? I'm just asking. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this is a issue that, you know, I'm not pursuing anything right now. I'm just kind of sitting back and like, you know, like unwinding the situation. Okay. There's some people who get involved in some shady shit. That's all I'm going to say about this. But I didn't deserve that. Okay. I don't deserve people ripping me off and then trying to make it seem like it's a righteous thing. It's not righteous. Okay. The problem with, you know, I would like to talk a little bit more about the future of marriage. Like I said, I'm not responsible for this, okay? In order for people to, I will say this really quick, and I will probably repeat myself a little bit when I do create. I don't want to call it my vision, but it's got to have a name, but we'll figure it out when I discuss my beliefs, okay? I am not going to get married. I'm going to tell you why. I am 50 years old. I'm no longer able to bear any more children. I don't get any more children. Okay, and I don't want any more children. Okay, and I'm going to be very upfront about this. I am not in a position to have the patience for children. Okay, that does not make I'm a bad person. It means I made a well thought out decision. I am not going to carry that burden and put that kid's life in jeopardy. That does not mean that I would beat that child, but I would not be in a position to give the child the best life they possibly have. And I know this. So I'm basically saying is, let responsible people take on those sort of roles if they're responsible and they know what they're getting into. Okay? See, a lot of these people that I used to listen to when I was younger, they sang love songs that made it seem like, oh my goodness, this man's going to love me forever. He loves me for me, only me. He's not thinking about what it's in my fucking bank account. Okay? And we know as we get older that those little mushy love songs are just that. They're mushy love songs. Okay, because we find out at some point that marriage is an institution. It seems like it's about business. Okay, and if you guys are too business-minded people, or some people are into that power couple image. They're into the power couple image. Okay, and I steer clear from power couples. Okay, I'm into like being down to earth. I'm into, you know, meditation. I'm into all that stuff. I'm not into power, impressing people. Okay, that's not what I live for. Okay, but I do know that we live in a monetary system, and that's all I know. I knew I needed to pay my bills. I knew I needed to make a living. That's it. Okay, but you know, apparently marriage is about that. It's about business, making money, some sort of corporate binding of some sort. Okay, and because I'm the kind of person that would probably get the short end of the stick in that deal. No, I'm not getting married. Okay, and I'm not going to let somebody force me into marriage or try to make it seem as though I'm married. See, when you have a person that's claiming you as their spouse, their kingdom spouse, what that does is it's not fair to you. Now, let's just say, for example, I was somebody else, right? I was my name. Okay, let's change my name. I used the name Vivian a few days ago for an example. Let's just say my name is Vivian, and let's make it sound really cool. My name is Vivian Monroe, right? My name is Vivian Monroe, and I am deciding to get a divorce, right? When you get a divorce, or I'm sorry, when you want to get married, I'm sorry. If I was to get married, it would be based on, I guess, stability. Building stability with a person that is consensual. Okay, and then if you were going to look for something consensual, I would suggest looking for something that's there's harmony there. Like you should be based on compatibility. You know what I mean? And they should be, I would think, in order to have a successful marriage, that they should be on the same guideline, wavelength, meaning they should have similar views. You know what I mean? It's not like you can marry somebody and then try to bash those views into their head, force them into their head, because at that point, your marriage is basically like slavery. And a lot of people feel like that's one of the reasons why they call it a ball and chain. Okay, but it doesn't have to be. But some people, maybe they're going into marriage the wrong way, not understanding that it's maybe they walk into it and they feel disappointed, and then they start feeling it's a ball and chain. You know what I mean? But if you go into it knowing that, hey, this is a business structure, and we are going to share our resources, right? Then it's something different, and they willingly know this. Okay. Same thing with bringing up children, which I was going to talk about that in the next thing. I will shortly when I get around to it, when I feel like it. Because right now, Maria's just like, I don't know what to think anymore. You know what I mean? I have always constantly left with some sort of negative residual thought of some piece of shit that's trying to do some shit behind my back and then grin in my face. I'm done. Done. I don't like people very much. I'm going to be honest. You know what I mean? I don't like people very. That doesn't mean I want to harm them, but I also I'm well aware of the fact that there's people like me. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to monetize my work, right? Because I have people who are trying to silence me, who feel like I'm a threat, and I don't. I'm not really. Because, like I said, the spotlight was cast on me beyond my control. They came into my work, they're arranging my jobs, putting me on camera, making up dialogue stories about me. I have a background where I'm supposed to be some weirdo coming back from the dead, so on and so forth. Right? So this was a part of the hate campaign. Why? To keep me isolated so I would have no support. So I'd be all by myself. Right? These people get off on pain. They get off on it. Like, seriously, it's almost to the point where I suspect they might even have sexual pleasure from it. Okay? So, I'm not, because why would you do this to another human being? Right? So I'm well aware that not everybody is in the right mental state of mind in this issue. But I get tired of, suffering for the faults of other people. You know what I mean? And I get shocked sometimes when I think about the kind of things that people will actually put into place or try to put into place to try to coerce me into being a business partner, against my will, where I probably would have no control over my money. Okay? This was exploitation that they had a lot of people helping them with. Okay, and like I said, and in their mind, this is a cult behavior. Why is it a cult behavior? Because in their mind, they're convinced themselves, oh, she deserves it. She deserves it. We're gonna hurt this wicked woman. We're gonna take from this wicked woman, same woman that's wicked, the same woman who's probably damned by God, and then we're gonna go ahead and use her work. We're gonna copycat her. You copycat the devil, really? They know good and well I'm not the devil. Okay, but the point is that they do these sort of things so that they can get favor, they can get people behind them, and they can get their support. Okay? And that's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. You know? And of course, with that comes feelings of trauma. You know what I mean? It does. This is one of the reasons why they get angry when you talk about it, because I'm dealing with narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse, the kind of trauma, it's weird. It's like they want you to be in a constant state of trauma. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm numb to it. I'm disturbed by it. I'm like, okay, the whole marriage thing, it's a forced marriage. Okay, so right now we're looking at a situation where Christianity is on the decline. Okay, we're looking at the fact that marriages are on the decline. I'm not responsible for it, okay, but I also have to acknowledge the fact that the system does not support it. The system does not support marriage or any sort of life at this point, whether you're single or married. Look at the market. You know what I mean? Look at how expensive it is to have food. You know what I mean? It's hard enough to cohabitate by yourself, let alone bring somebody else in and then crank out a little one. It's not that I really do think that giving birth, when I look at people who have kids, like I see families where like the little kid's walking behind their parents, and I'm looking at the little kid and I see both of the parent and the kid's face. That's very cute, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of love and warmth. Hopefully there's a lot of love and warmth in that family. You know what I mean? I do think that's something important to me. The race I come from, we love. Okay? This unique bond that I have with me and my father, James Gordon, our line loves. We love. We experience love. Not just saying it as some sort of like, cool catchphrase or whatever. We experience love. Love. Real love. And we know what real love is, okay? And this is very different than most people experience in society. My father went out and bent over backwards. And when I talk about love, I'm not talking about romantic love. He bent over backwards because I was thinking about some of the things that he experienced when he was being bullied. And I know that he did this because he loved me. He loved me. I think that he knew. I remember one time I was thinking, my dad came into my room one day when I was, I think about first, second grade, and he said, oh, I had the worst dream, Maria, and he said, I thought somebody was going to come get you. And I realize now that people must have put pressure on my father after they had me, after he decided to have me. Yeah, because at first they were treating him great, and then they flipped the shit around, started treating him like shit, right? Started treating him like shit. And my father, I can tell that he was protective of, he was under a lot of stress. And this man died for me. He died for me. And I think about this all the time. I'm getting very upset when I think about this. And these same people who did what they did to my dad came back to me, and they think it's okay to disrespect me and take my things and then try to block me out of social media. And sort of try to act like I'm going to take all her stuff and then I'm going to grin in my face. I don't want to fucking see your face. Okay? I don't want to hear your fucking goddamn music. Okay? You're sick. You're sick. Period. Okay? And then you say that there and try to smear my father's name. My father was a good man. Okay? So all these lies and propaganda I've been hearing and, experiencing, having to suffer at the hands of a bunch of racist white people. Because that's really what it boils down to. And so, so these women that were jealous of me on social media, because back in the day, these men drew a lot of people's attention. Okay? They drew a lot of people's attention. It wasn't about love. Okay? This is why I cannot stand women. Okay, because you try to be their fucking friend and they get petty over shit. They get jealous when you're fucking being abused. This is how weak they fucking are. I hate myself so much. I wish I could be abused by someone of his status. Some of his fucking status is trying to steal my shit. Think about that. Did you put that into perspective? Oh, but women want to be together. They talk about women unity. Yeah, we're going to be one. And then they find some strong woman and what do? They ostracize her. I get so tired of people and their fucking group mentality. It doesn't fucking work. Okay, I understand one thing, that we are alone in this world, okay? And when you come to that realization, you get stronger. Okay? I get strong. I'm a very strong woman. Okay? I'm strong, and I'm the kind of person, why I'm strong is because I know that there's only me in this world. Like, I'm the only one who stands up for Maria. Okay? And with that understanding, I'm relentless if I have to be. I don't like to be, but I'm going to be strong. That's just how it is. You're either are or you're not. But I'm expressing my feelings because it's like, that's a lot of trauma to deal with. Okay? I can't tell you what happened, what's happened since that happened, that issue at Murray Family Farms, and the tragedies that occurred after all of that. Okay? Now, some of these people who get online, they think this sort of stuff, they just like, oh, so-and-so, they're gone now, whatever. They shrug their shoulders at all of this stuff. And I'm sitting here I'm not even witnessing it firsthand, okay? And I'm walking, what I believe is the act of God actually working. I hate to use the word God because people trivialize God so much that I don't want to mimic it, okay? But some divine, act is occurring that's wiping out enemies constantly, all right? So I get a little bit concerned about that sort of stuff, okay? But that's what I'm saying is they play with an issue that you cannot play with. You cannot sit here and take divine things or sacred topics and trivialize them in this sort of manner, in the magnitude that you did, because you will anger the higher power. And this is exactly what happened. This is why it spread out the way that it is. This is why it feels so creepy. This is this darkness that has come over the air. This is the truth. This is the truth. Okay? This is why it feels like this kind of prophetic stuff that's going on in the Bible. You do not play this game. I'm telling people used to laugh at me and like belittle me. Oh, you just too spiritual. I'm 100% spiritual, and this is why I'm telling you this was not something to be messed with. Now you got people over in this country, taking sides on what? Religion. Religion. Okay? This is the very stuff. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. This is the very stuff that you do not want to play with. Okay? I'm not a threat to this country. I love my country. You know what I mean? That's all I can tell you. I love my country, and sometimes, like I said, you got the divine works in ways. Like I said, how your grandmother probably said, God works in mysterious ways. He does. Like I said, what you thought was a joke could have been God wanting to set this. Go ahead and start crossing the line. Let's drawing the line. We're going to start drawing the line right now. It could have come out this way. Don't play with religion. Don't ever mess with religion. Do not trivialize it. Do not sit here and try to act like, let's play games. Let's try to win a war based on religion. Okay? You know why? Because you're angering God. Do not bring God into your personal problems. Now, this whole issue about, marriage and all this other stuff, yeah, I get it. People just aren't into marriage anymore. Okay? That's why I believe in personal responsibility. You know what I mean? And hey, I tried to take, measures to do that. Hey, I felt like I needed to contribute. I'm alive. I need to take care of myself. Okay? But everybody squashed me. They feel like I'm some sort of threat to the Christian church. I'm not a threat to the Christian church. They're the ones who sat here and started poking on me, making problems for me. Not the other way around. Now, they look at C.B. Berganza as a heathen. I'm not a heathen. You know what I am? Somebody? Yeah. I'm somebody who was abused by the white Christian church, and because I wasn't sitting here saying, hit me harder, or acting as if I enjoyed their abuse, then somehow I'm a rebel. That's bullshit. And they know it. Okay? The problem with it is that they had a belief system, right, that they were hypocritical about. Just all these people that got involved in my energy as Maria Gordon, I will tell you, nothing about what they do reminds me of Jesus at all. When I look at some of the people who got involved with this, I'm like, I'm not feeling the Jesus vibe. Because you're supposed to be Christian, you don't remind me of Jesus at all. I don't see it. Sorry. But what I do see is a bunch of people banding together to sit here and try to fuck me up. Okay? This is the kind of shit that Jesus used to call people out on. And he was very adamant about it. And he'd catch you out of that. He'd call you out in front of everybody. And they should be called out in front of everybody. You know why? Because you need to set an example. You do not play with this sort of stuff. You don't play with this sort of stuff. You don't sit here and cause religion debates about this sort of stuff on a wide scale like this and think that you're not going to pay a spiritual consequence. Clear this up. Okay? The answer to this problem is, you know what? Sometimes it's either one or the other. Okay? If marriage is on the decline, it can mean two things. Humanity is eventually going to die out. That's a possibility. There's a lot of people complaining about they don't like shit on Earth anyway. That's either going to happen or it's not. Okay, because if people stop multiplying and stop forming these unions, you know, they can't, it's not really acceptable. I mean, you know, people can't have kids out of wedlock, but in situations, you should. I think it's fair to the kid, right, to have kids, both parents, okay? So then, if people aren't doing that, then I guess we're going to die out. Does anybody care? Because everybody hates their job. I hear everybody talking about it. Okay, so I don't know what to do. You know, it's not my responsibility to fix that problem. You know what I mean? I'm tired of people thinking that it's my responsibility to carry the weight of all the fucking problems that people have. It's not my fucking problem. You know what I mean? I'm not your fucking wife. Okay? And I don't want to be your wife. You know, I'm angry and I'm sad and I'm depressed about, you know, people thinking that it's okay to do things, you know, behind my back and thinking it's okay that, you know, because I had admiration for them when I was growing up, or I had admiration for them even as an adult, that it's okay to do this sort of thing and disrespect me. There is no excuse for what these people did other than them being selfish and greedy. Okay? Everybody has to pull their own weight in this world. Okay? I tried to do my part. But you stomped me out. You did everything you could to stop me. No, I am not a threat to the Christian church. You know what the biggest threat to the Christian church is? Some of the people who call themselves Christian. Isn't that funny? They trivialize their relationship with God and think it's okay. When you do this sort of stuff, you have these like little witch hunts and start trying to play God wars, and then you start wondering why is it people can't find jobs? Because now certain people are starting to get pulled out, called out, and people are starting to get separated. Yeah, in front of your eyes, because of the stupid game. Okay? Are you trying to launch Armageddon or something? Be careful with this sort of shit. I'm telling you right now. Okay, people think that I don't have, I'm not somebody who respects biblical stuff or whatever. I look at the Bible as a holy book. I will say a lot of it is written kind of like, you can get all kinds of theologians together from different backgrounds, okay? And they're going to sit here and they're going to debate about this particular scripture. What did they mean? How do you interpret it? There's always going to be, this is the reason why we have so many different divisions within the Christian denominations, okay? Some people, they're tired of their spouse. They've been wanting to get a divorce for a very long time. So they know technically, you know, in the Bible, that's not something that you should just do willy-nilly. So then they create another, what do you call it, doctrine, so they can get out of it, you know, find some sort of loophole. So now we're going to start this religion, an offshoot of this religion, you know, because, you know, Catholics are Protestants and Catholics and then Baptists and Presbyterians. Some of these people are offshoots of each other. Why? Over simple little things, doctrinal beliefs. Okay? Small ones. Whatever the case is, you know. I try to pull my weight in this world. That's all I try to do. Okay? I'm an innocent victim of somebody's arrogance and their need to abuse. Okay? Because when I do the mind work on these people, they're shunned and they're stopped that I would actually like bring this subject out. Okay? But do they feel like all this time they knew it was wrong? Okay? Like when Libra 14, I was dealing with the issue at Libra 14, right? Taking my shit, or having some sort of thing over my shit. And then I find out these two men from a long time ago are orchestrating my shit, and then I'm calling them out on it. And it's like, you know, they should have known the first time it was wrong. Who's wrong? You stay out of my stuff. This is not one thing. I don't know why do these celebrity people think that everything that I do belongs to them. It doesn't. Okay, I'm a separate person with the right to have my own stuff. I don't know why you think that. You know what I mean? Unless, of course, you've been dealing with that circus personnel or something. I don't know. But no, I do. I am I'm a content creator. I'm not a singer. Okay? So I have to be very careful. So you see, I haven't been contacting celebrities. I haven't been doing anything. What I've been doing is I've been thinking I need to contemplate. I shut my shit down. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and let people take advantage of me. I'm not going to let people take advantage of me. And I know the whole thing is these people were so brainwashed. You know what they were angry about? Because when I started thinking about me shutting my shit down and just, you know, walking away, I was getting these intuitive vibes of people being angry and acting as if I'm the selfish one. This is how mind controlled these people are, okay? Because people were banking on me. People needed me. They needed me for something, whether that be for entertainment or maybe they were hoping I was going to fund their kids' college fund. I ain't doing shit. I'm tired of people fucking walking all over me. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? Why is it that I cannot have my own things? Why? You know what I mean? It bothers me. So you know what? It is what it is. I'm tired of it. You know? This whole issue, even going down to things like Project 2025 or whatever, which I think was created as a form of harassment. That's a very serious topic to me. And because that's a serious topic, because you got a lot of people who are scared to death, a lot of women are freaked the fuck out. Okay, and it has nothing to do with them trying to rebel against men. It's everything about them trying to protect themselves. Okay, why is it that you trivialize issues that are important? Because there's mental illness within this group. Because of the sick group dynamic. This is why I do not deal with group dynamics. You know what I mean? If you have an honest heart and you truly are somebody who gives a shit and you want to support me, I would appreciate you liking and subscribing my videos. Okay? But if you are somebody who's basically trying to double dip me, just keep moving. You know what I mean? I don't need people disrespecting me, leeching off me, copycatting me. What do you call it? What's the other word that I use? Absorbing me. Trying to make it seem as though I'm the student. No, I'm not the student of my own stuff. This has nothing to do with arrogance. It has everything to do with me getting the proper credit for my work, which I have the right to do. Okay? And I know that you made up a religion, or at least a religious doctrine, right? That somehow I'm unworthy of having any sort of, you know, acknowledgement of my work. Okay? I'll be damned if somebody's going to take my work. Okay? And pass it off as their own. Okay, and I understand that there was the use they were trying to use as an excuse is that they were trying to trying to debate where I should be living. I'm living here in the United States. I have already documented here in the United States. These people orchestrated when they created me or whatever. These people created, you know, the whole scenario where they involved British people and they involved important American people. It was some sort of collaborated effort. Okay, I already have my shit here. This is where I am. It was already agreed upon at that time. I'm a United States citizen. Okay, I mean, as cool as England is, I don't want to go back there, and I don't like people setting me up to be forced to do things like this. Okay, I am not a heathen. You know what I mean? I am not somebody who's making some sort of uprise. I'm not doing anything. I'm not, you know, I'm just. What you did was serious, okay? Do not touch my things. Do not think it's okay to interject your stuff or think it's okay to use my shit and then remove all merit from me, okay? I'm done. I'm done. Now, I know there's a lot of people in England, and because they use this religious doctrine, you know, this stupid thing, right? That somehow I'm not, like I said, if I'm such an animal, if I'm a spirit creature that you don't want to look at as human, then you should not be loving my shit so much that you're using it. I'm getting an intuitive download. And there's a lot of people who, you know, who are concerned about, you know, how I view them right now. You know what? This is something people need to know. If I haven't called your name out yet or made some sort of like, you know, insinuation to your name or your identity, be grateful. Okay? Right now, I don't really want to talk to anybody. I'm going to be spending the next few weeks, you know, in contemplation, in spiritual contemplation, and I will pop online to like work on my, I hate to call it my vision series, but I'm not going to call it my vision, but I'm just going to say my way. And the reason why I'm going to say it's my way is because it's my life and I live my way because I have to, okay? And it's the only way I choose to live because I believe in the way I see things, okay? And the reason why I do not associate or socialize with people is number one, their smear campaign was to try to mark me and try to make it so that I would not receive help from other people to make me helpless. So that would make it easier for them to kill me and not have any assistance. Number two, you know, I am somebody who operates alone. You know, I'm basically, you know, very autonomous. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I do have some things I want to take care of. I probably will get onto this video in the computer a little bit later and might make another video. I might be working on my my first thing, which is creation, the topic of creation. I do not know where I'm going to be able to post this because I choose to try to get my stuff monetized. I have every right to get my stuff monetized. Okay, it's not fair. Okay, that I'm sitting here suffering for some of the illegal activities of other people. Yeah, and I'm going to say illegal activities. You can try to convince yourself that there's a real marriage. There is no marriage. I never signed any marriage document. I never agreed to it. It has to be consensual. Okay, forced marriages falls under the guidelines of human trafficking. Okay, it's not exactly human trafficking. It is a form of human trafficking, but it does fall under the same guidelines of human trafficking. Okay, why? Because you're directing somebody and you are forcing a person. A marriage has to be consensual. There's a difference between, like, you know, like, okay, remember that song, Matchmaker, Matchmaker, find me a match? That movie, I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, some Jewish people they call it a matchmaker, okay? And that's not forced marriage. Why? Because they raise their children to know and expect that eventually at some point they're going to get married and they're going to have somebody come in and they're going to match them. So the kid's like, okay, this is what I'm agreeing to and I understand it's part of our tradition. And some kids, they look forward to it because it's a part of who they are. It's a part of their culture. And they're consenting to it, right? Okay, but a forced marriage is when you have people who are using coercion, like you either do this or I'm not going to let you do this type stuff. Bullying you, all right, exploiting you like they exploited me, taking my shit, and then keeping me in a little bubble, preventing me from having any sort of association. This is the hot button legal issue, okay, that I want done. I want it done. Okay, yes, I have the right to have other friends. I have the right to have people in my life that I want in my life. Okay, instead of I'm tired of being with abusers. I have the right to have people who care about me and I can care about them. Real friends. Okay, and they're very rare. Okay, but this is one of the most beautiful things about it is if you find somebody like that, oh, what a wonderful joy that would be. And I have the right to have that in my life. I have the right to have that in my life. Like I said, me and my dad, we love. We come from a race of love. Love, real love. Okay, which is very strange. We are angelic. We find it very difficult in this world. We do not exploit people that we love. Okay, that is a violation of who we are. Okay, some people financially abuse their family members and stuff like that. I get that. And they do it so normally. This is one of the reasons why this whole thing was so normalized. Oh, that's supposed to be her getting ready to be her kingdom spouse. She's not getting any credit for her work, but we'll help this situation along. No, it's abuse. Okay. I'm a person who loves. And I'm not ashamed of that. I love sincerely. I love, like, you know, purely. I mean, that's the most beautiful thing that you can ever have. Okay? And I'm not going to waste that on people who abuse me. So I'm going to wrap up my video, and I will be back with the end of the video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.